Okay, I think 10:02, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. Thank you everyone for joining for the Platformation webinar highlighting the best of the ServiceNow Rome release. I know it's morning for some of you, afternoon for many of you in Europe, and we have an exciting lineup today. Speed highlights of several modules and the features and capabilities that are what we think the best parts of them in the Rome release. So and let me know if there are any audio or visual issues along the way. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and proceed here. Just a little introduction about the company. Platformation is a ServiceNow Global Elite partner, and we make workflow for companies around the world, optimizing their business processes and maximizing value from companies who use the Now platform, using existing and a lot of hidden potential in the customization area. On that note, we were awarded ServiceNow's EMEA Partner of the Year this year, App Development Partner of the Year. But more importantly, we were named the Global App Development Partner of the Year. So when it comes to app development on the Now platform, ServiceNow said we're the best, and we have our team to thank for that, as you can see in this photo. A couple of housekeeping notes. Please mute your lines when you're not speaking. Use the Q&A feature to submit questions so we can track the ones that we've already answered. We'll email you a recording after the session. And other than that, sit back and enjoy the presentation. So today's tour guides for Rome, there's a lot of them. We have Sebastian for CSM, Anjo for FSM, Wolf for HRSD, Hovert, Edwin, Asli, and Carol. We also have Ketul for platform, Dylan for CMDB, Paul for reporting and PA, Arvid for WSD, Lamia will present DevOps, and Hus will present what's new for App Engine. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sebastian, who will get us started on the CSM updates.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm here today to tell you what's new in Rome for customer service management. I picked out 3 great features for you, starting with a fancy one, the next best actions. So let's jump right into that one. So next best action is a feature designed to guide your agent throughout the case lifecycle by providing them with actions where you think it makes sense that they can be performed. For example, creating an incident, attaching an article, or creating a work order to inform the field service management team. So based on the context of the case, they will be displayed the next best actions on the right-hand side in their agent assistant, and can then simply click on them and proceed the case through those means. It's one of the new CSM Pro features, can really help you guide your agents along and speed up the resolution of a case. And it's available for the new configurable workspace. Next up, we have a feature related to the data structure. So if your business model includes business to consumer, like here in this example, a hardware seller like Apple, or a car dealership, or an insurance, then you can now structure with this new plugin your data with this additional layer of complexity. So let's say you're Apple and you're selling your hardware to other businesses like MediaMarkt, and then there are consumers that buy your MacBook from MediaMarkt but get then back to you as the manufacturer for support. Then of course you will need to know who are those people, what did they buy, what's the configuration. And now without any customization, just with this simple plugin, you can actually structure your data exactly like that. And it's part of this TSM standard. Next up, we have a feature that might look simple and underwhelming, but it's actually one of the most requested features for the CSM baseline. The capability to create a contact or a consumer from the same page as your case. Previously, when there was a contact or consumer that you couldn't find in your table, you had to open a new tab, create the contact, copy the name, go back to your case, paste it into the respective field. Not anymore, right? So now you can, from the right-hand side, from the agent assistant in the lookup and verify, create, search for the contact or consumer, and if you don't find them, create them right then and there. Click on the create button, and the value will actually be copied over into the respective field without you having to switch around or anything. So it's a significantly faster and a great user experience, part of the CSM standard and part of the configurable CSM workspace. Thanks for listening. And with that, I give over to Anu.
Thank you. You just saw a small sneak peek. I'll give you the three features of field service management that really stood out for us in terms of improvements, starting with crew operations, scheduling, dispatch, and mobile enhancements. And on the crew operations, this is one of the enhancements actually that was requested most by partners from ServiceNow, by users of the system. How do we get work assigned to a team of people? How are we going to do that? Is there a possibility to do so? Now there is. In Rome, ServiceNow has the field service crew operations, which allows you to do exactly that. So you can create teams through the dispatch workspace. Those teams can be reused. Those teams can be one time only. And for each team, the members of those teams have in their mobile application the tasks at hand, and the team leader, the dispatcher or the manager of that particular team, who is also on site, is doing all the management work, while everybody can see what do they need to do, what are the instructions and leave notes in those particular tasks. It just simplifies scheduling and improves working with a team and making work more efficient. Continuing to the next one is a other improvement to the dispatch workspace. It does not only allow anymore the selection of teams, the creation of teams, but right now route improvement is there. So you can visualize and improve how engineers are driving to their works. It also shows right now SLAs, the colorful bars, to give you an immediate overview of what is work at hand, what do we need to look at urgently, and makes just life of dispatchers more efficient. And next to that, there are a lot of interesting features on the mobile enhancements. And you probably know that the mobile application for field service management is quite enhanced, quite extended already. But there's always a bit room for improvement. Right now, it allows the technicians to see the special handling notes that are on the work order tasks. If there is anything important, they can see it with one blink of an eye. The landing page is improved for my work, so engineers have an immediate overview. What do I need to do? The icons actually, or the work they frequently access, is right now prominently shown. And a very much requested feature is the timesheet selection, submitting a timesheet, modifying a timesheet. It's all right now in the mobile application, and all those enhancements of FSM together just make it a better product in the Rome release. Handing it over to Wolf for HRSD right now.
All right, thanks Anu for this. Hi everyone, I'm going to show you quickly some of the new ServiceNow features that are released for HRSD in the new Rome release. I'll talk about Employee Center, granular delegation, and evidence management. So first of all, let's go to Employee Center. So starting from the Rome release, ServiceNow has actually rebranded Employee Center. The Employee Center portal and related functionality is now generally available for all departments, and it's available as a store plugin. So you don't longer need HRSD to already use the basics of Employee Center. The Employee Center Pro, including then targeted communication and campaigns, for example, is still available as part of the HRSD Pro license. Next up, granular delegation. This is actually my favorite of the three new features. I'm looking very forward to having this at some of our customers as well. Since Rome, it's now possible to actually, for an end user, to set up his own delegation rules. So how does this actually work? The admin or agent can set up some delegation rules in the backend that define who and when someone can be delegated. For this, they are using HR user criteria and normal user criteria. And then the end user, using the employee portal in his profile, they can select one of the available predefined delegation rules, and they can select who to delegate those tasks or those approvals for. For example, in comparison to the old legacy delegation functionality, this was only possible from the backend and only from agents. This functionality is also fully available and fully functional on mobile, and it can be used separately or in combination with the legacy delegation module. And then lastly, we have evidence management. So evidence management is a new addition to employee relations. With evidence management, agents can use all kinds of digital artifacts, for example, chat logs, emails, audio, video, SMS, and screenshots, and attach those as evidence to an employee relations case. Those types are also out of the box already available, but it's possible to add new types if necessary. And the evidence management is also fully supported by the HRSD agent workspace module. All right, this was a short overview. Let's hand it over to Govert, who will be showing you ITBM.
Yes, thank you, Wolf. So let's now go for the hotspots of the Rome release for ITBM. And on number one, we have the mobile timesheets. This is a long-awaited feature that has already requested quite some times. And with this feature, it's not needed anymore to sit behind your laptop and to write your hours. You can now, for example, be on a business trip to Rome, and you can write your hours on your mobile cell phone, which is a great improvement. And it's not only about writing your hours, but it's also about approving or rejecting the hours or reviewing it as a manager, for example, when you're on the train back home. So I think this is a great awaited feature that will really improve the usage of the tool, not only for ITBM users, but for users all across the platform. So that's number one. So now let's head for number two. And number two is the alignment workspace planner. It was always a feedback that creating new records, for example, demands or projects inside ServiceNow was not that user-friendly. You ended up in forms or in lists. So now to improve this, ServiceNow has come with a Monday.com-like functionality called Alignment Planner Workspace, where you can create on a user-friendly way initiatives like epics, demands, projects, or also other agile functionalities. You can create these from this view. You can also see who is responsible for it. And with the color coding, you can also easily identify what kind of initiatives are planned in which time frame. So an easy overview without needing to go through all different kinds of forms in the platform. So I think great improvement as well here. And then the third one, which is the possibility to create non-monetary benefit plans. So until now, you had the ability to create benefit plans, but they were mostly related to monetary figures. So for example, cost reductions or an increase in sales. There's now a new feature on the benefit plan level, that is that you can also create benefit plans for non-monetary things, for example, the increase in licenses or reducing the number of applications. This is a special feature that will also expand the possibility for benefit tracking inside the project portfolio management solution, which I also think is a great step forward inside the tool. So yeah, that's it for ITBM. Hope we inspired you, and now heading it back to Edwin.
Well, thanks, Robert. So I will be telling you something about the item suite, so IT operation management. I chose the following three things actually, which I think are nice to have in the Rome release. So it's regarding the item licensing, discovery and service mapping, and a bit of optimizations. So let's start with the item licensing. Ever wondered where the item license count is coming from? Well, certainly I have, but now we can find it out. For licensing purposes, CI types are now assigned to CI categories. The categories are coming from the ServiceNow contract, which is synchronized via the ServiceNow portal. Within this contract, there are stated that certain CI types are being seen as a certain CI category. And there are 4 CI categories actually. Those are containers, PaaS, or platform as a service, servers, and unresolved monitoring objects. So now you can quickly see where it's coming from and how it's being counted towards. Okay, now something about the discovery and service mapping product suite. For the discovery part, I chose global IP exclusion. Well, I hear you thinking, why do we want to exclude global IPs from our discovery? Obviously, because when we have sensitive servers or computers, or maybe honeypots, which we don't want to discover, now we can make a global IP exclusion, so we won't discover it again. And for the service mapping, we can see dependent application services. So whenever you are opening a service map now, and you can see that a service map is linked to it, you can quickly right-click on it, check dependent application services, and now you can see a list with all other service maps which are referring to it. So now you have a quick analysis which you can apply whenever you are seeing a service map and want to do some things with it. Yeah, this is obviously not really an item future, but I stole it from the platform once because I really like it, and mid servers are being highly used by item. So now we can deploy mid service as a container. Why? And now increased speed actually. With the increased speed, we can achieve more value actually and earlier, because normally you see that a request of a server takes a lot of time, and with Docker we can decrease obviously the time spent before we can actually do the item work. Obviously there are some more item improvements, but you can read it all in the release notes, which are nice to read actually. Okay, unfortunately, that's my time. So I will give it over to Bas Leij, and he will tell you something about IT service management.
Yes, thank you, Edwin. For ITSM in Rome, what is most notable is that it's all about improvement of some of the major optimization workflows. So to start off, let's go to the workforce optimization. This was released last time in Quebec, and with it, it was greatly seen as a new function for ITSM to actually manage your teams and get more out of their performance, but also coaching them. Although this was already a very good improvement in the enterprise licensing, it needed some optimization, and with it now it's even better possible to manage and track your improvement skills of your team and schedule the possibilities to further improve your service delivery. The same goes for the second part of process optimization. In process optimization, this is of course a very cool feature to actually see how your process is performing. And from the early release, you actually saw the lovely, as you can see in the small part in the middle, you actually saw that there were great possibilities to improve on your process through the system itself and learning from its mistakes made. However, it was still quite harsh to find these out and actually bottleneck the actual failures out of it for improvement. This visualization has been improved, as is the audit processing. Also for this, you will need the enterprise licensing, but it might give you the additional edge to get to another maturity level looking towards your processes. And finally, I want to mention the vendor management workspace. It's been there for quite some time already. And looking towards SIAM, looking towards vendor management and the effects vendors have on our IT service management and the level of service that we can provide, this one is in constant improvement. And again, for now, with the optimizing of the track performance of your vendors, it's easier to manage them, to show where there are meeting targets or lacking targets, and see how reliable your partners are. And actually, from that perspective, get more out of your contract with your vendor based on reliable information. That for now for Rome for ITSM, and handing it over to Karel.
Thank you, Bas. So also a short update on integrated risk management and the Rome release. So a couple of highlights that we'll walk through: workspaces, a dedicated risk portal, and a brand new privacy application with data discovery capabilities. So let's have a look at the first slide, workspaces. So long-term investments have been done in the across the IRM product line by the integrated risk business unit at ServiceNow. It's the fastest growing business unit at ServiceNow. And we see that reflected in the tremendous improvement with every release. So across the entire product line, policy and compliance management, risk management, audit management, business continuity management, vendor risks, you now get out of the box workspaces. And I believe this is a tremendous improvement in terms of user experience. And what we got back from a lot of customers throughout the last years is that, let's say due to the sheer complexity and potential use cases in any governance, risk, and compliance function, there was actually a need for persona-based environments, because it was quite difficult to get a proper 360 view on your risk and compliance posture across the enterprise. And now with workspaces aimed specifically at first and second line of defense, with, for instance, 360 view workspaces, compliance management, control owner and risk owner workspaces, I think the user adoption is going to tremendously improve potentially, and it will with that increase the value and lead to better outcomes and reduce risk. Next slide, please. A dedicated risk portal. So what we already saw in the last few releases was more, let's say, widgets and standard functionalities being added on the service portal, but also, for instance, on the APM portal, where there are standard integration use cases. And now, more and more we see that a dedicated risk portal is needed. And here in the Rome release, customers are provided with a dedicated risk portal to manage any activity, any assessment, control attestation, issues and tasks, and all have it in one place to further bridge that gap between first line of defense, the operational layer, and the risk and compliance function in the organization. Next slide, please. So very exciting about this complete new capability, a new privacy application in the ServiceNow, where ServiceNow also has a out-of-the-box integration with BigID, which is basically a data discovery solution. And I think, this is really a bit, let's say, the next step in evolution that will allow you to actually map automatically the information flows, different personal identifiable information flows across your enterprise, and map that against your CMDB in ServiceNow using information objects, and with that automatically detecting privacy risks and, of course, identifying necessary remediative actions. So very exciting solution, a bit of the holy grail in privacy, and looking forward to hopefully tell more about that.
Thank you, Karel. Yes. Next, please. So with Rome release, platform products which received most focus are Virtual Agent, ATF, and Instance Scan. Let's start with virtual agent. So virtual agent highlights for Rome release are multi-language topic authoring, asynchronous chat, and virtual agent notification. With multi-language topic authoring, now virtual agent topic can be translated into different language using localization framework or with third-party localization provider using API. Using asynchronous chat, now both user and agent can engage into long-running chat. That means both no need to be online at the same time. And with the virtual agent notification, now agents can send a notification to user who are not even registered into ServiceNow. Next, it's ATF. So highlights for ATF in Rome release are headless browser and select two functionality. So with headless browser, now we can do the UI testing or client-side testing without having to manually open a browser in a client test runner. That means we can do the automation ATF tests with the CI/CD pipeline without any kind of a manual intervention, which is a really good feature and can be do the end-to-end automation using a CI/CD pipeline. With the select two functionalities, now we can search using a text on a drop-down, and based on the search results, we can select a list from the drop-down via ATF. And last is instance scan. So highlight for instance scan is reactive scan. So we can now create a scan trigger and which can execute the instance scan whenever that scan trigger is activated. So we can use these reactive scan functionalities whenever something goes wrong and we need to do the diagnostic check. For example, let's say we are doing an upgrade project and the upgrade fails and we want to see, okay, what went wrong, so that the correct time is that whenever something goes wrong. So we can use this reactive scan functionality in that scenario. And previously it was only manual scan and scheduled scan. So that is also a great feature which has been added into the instance scan functionality with the Rome release. With that, I'm handing over to Dylan, who will talk about CSDM and CMDB.
Thank you, Ketul. Going to give you some highlights on the CMDB and CSDM. Three one that I picked was CMDB Data Manager, CMDB Workspace, and some highlights on the new CSDM 4.0. So the CMDB Data Manager is a one-stop shop for defining, maintaining, and monitoring CI lifecycle maintenance tasks. It's based on a policy framework. So you define a policy on a set of CIs, you define the trigger, and also you select a flow, which tells you what kind of process is behind the actual policy. Based on this policy, a task is created by towards the managed by group. And this managed by group can also select certain CIs to be excluded. And by having this CMDB data manager, you can reduce the repetitive tasks in the manual work. You can automate some CI lifecycle management activities. And of course, you hope to improve the CMDB quality and improve the trustfulness and healthiness of the CMDB. There's no license required, but you do need the CSDM lifecycle stages and states to be implemented in order for the CMDB data manager to work. The CMDB workspace is actually a single pane of glass for everything that has to do with the CMDB. So you can see your CIs that you are managing. You can see the activity and health of the CMDB. You can also see your tasks there. So the tasks that have been created as part of the CMDB data manager can be seen here within the CMDB workspace. It can be providing some quick access or some quick links towards CMDB tools, like creating a new service. The CMDB page template will provide you with a standard template on certain CIs that you can fill in or can adjust or can have insights in based on what you have defined in the template. And also the CMDB workspace is used to perform idle process activities like changing or updating a CI. But the upgrade impact, for now it was released as a limited access request, but it will become generally available from October onwards. The CMDB workspace will be available from the ServiceNow store, and you do need the CMDB page templates to be implemented. Overall, I think the goal is to improve the quality of the CMDB and make the work easier for the CMDB managers. CSDM 4.0 has a lot of new things, but one of the most important ones is the build domain and the SDLC component. by which, well, you can actually, see the development details of digital products, like the security configurations or database configurations. And it actually, causes better alignment with the DevOps. The CSDM lifecycle stages are included, service portfolio management for technical services, which was missing in CSDM 3.0. Business services are now dedicated classes. For location management, they have included some lifecycle management. So within a location, there is now different stages, and there's a standard hierarchy that will be provided by ServiceNow. Digital product models are introduced, and business processes are now part of the foundation data, and can be selected actually amongst different objects. It's no separate license required, but some components need to be installed by a store app. And I think it's, the outcomes is better alignment with DevOps, improved API and microservices modeling, and eventually a foundation for more automation and control.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. So my name is Paul. I will be talking a little bit about performance analytics as part of the Now Intelligence, and some other features include the machine learning clustering in the process optimization, the KPI details improvement, and some new target functionalities that we have available. So the first feature is actually part of machine learning. There's a module called process optimization, and there's a new feature being added that you can actually cluster your results into specific groups to analyze patterns. So the process optimization is used to analyze your processes and to see where bottlenecks in the system actually appear. And in the visualization options, you now have a new way to structure your data, either on an activity, on our specific connection. And well, as I said, the goal is to find bottlenecks in the process and to better visualize them, of course. The next few features are added to the Now Experience KPI detail. So Now Experience is the new visualization layer that you have for the workspaces. And the KPI details are actually the same as the Analytics Hub in the previous UI. This is a large, well, this is actually the largest improvement to the UI that's coming to the platform now. And KPI details is mimicking the same functionality as the Analytics Hub, but then on a workspace. And some extra features have been added that were already in the Analytics Hub, like time aggregations, real-time scores. Specific outliers have been updated with long and short runs. And you can now view record, so KPI details shows the record lists in this case. So that's for the KPI details updates to the system. There are also some new features that have been added that are not available on the Analytics Hub, but you can use them in KPI details. And those are features that you can use to set up targets. Because in the past, setting up targets was kind of tedious, and they've included some new automated ways to set multiple targets for, or let's say, setting targets for multiple components like breakdowns, etc. So this has been greatly improved. And next to that, you can now also view and edit records directly from within the KPI details. So there's a separate tab for this that you can access your records, making it a lot more useful in this case. All right, that was it. So now Arvid's up with the workplace delivery components.
Thank you very much, Paul. So let me go through the highlights, at least how I see that for workplace service delivery. Although it is an application that's available in the store and also receives updates via the store, there are some things I want to highlight as part of this Rome release. And starting off with the Outlook add-in. So the first feature that I want to highlight upon is making it possible for employees to use the workplaces much more efficiently without their need to search where can I find certain activities I need to do. So normally, if I want to, for example, want to reserve a meeting space and I want to add services, it can be happening that I need to go to either a dedicated portal or maybe even 2 or 3 portals in order to have the final result.
With the Outlook add-in, you're getting the capabilities of the workplace reservation management within the Outlook client of the employee, making it easy for them when composing a new event to schedule a new meeting, to add attendees to it, to compose a complete meeting, but also to add services directly to it without ever needed to leave this overview and just do everything in one go. So very useful, very convenient for the employees to ensure that they will adopt the application much more easy when deployed within the organization. Second feature I want to highlight is about space management. So about using that, of course, is very important as we are building it for our employees, rolling it out for the employees, but also we need to track and trace and manage who can use that. And that's where space management is coming into play. So in Rome, space management will be able to add a certain layer of cost center department validation or hierarchy. So you can control as an organization who can use those spaces, who's allowed to reserve on that, but also do I have a mixture of hoteling desks, for example, or more permanently assigned desks. And you can all manage that directly via the space management application, which tied into the different modules. Among one of them is reservation management. The final feature for today I want to highlight, and I can tell you there are much more, is about space mapping. Visualizing the space, the workspace to the employee. And it's not only about making that visible for the employee how the floor plans look like, but also as part of Rome release, we added features like I want to search my colleague. So I can start typing the name, and if a space has been assigned to that colleague, or if they reserve something, it will be highlighted on the map. Also in here, I can also just roam through the location and try to reserve a space based on the floor map. So I can see what's availability and easily and quick and make any reservations or interact with that one by itself. So a very useful feature is not only to reserve those items, but really also see them. So I think those were the highlights for me for workplace reservation management. And Lamia, can you show me your highlights for DevOps?
Thanks, Arvid. So for DevOps, as you know, it's an application which is updated in the store each month. And for the Rome release, I'm going to focus on the two features for code security integration and pipeline UI. So we start with code security integration. In this specific feature, it means that now with ServiceNow DevOps application, you are able to integrate with your code security tools such as SonarQube or SonarCloud, and you're able to fetch all your information from that out-of-the-box integration, and that will help you define your change approvals policies. Let's say you can define your approval policy based on your code smells or your vulnerability percentage that you get from your SonarQube or SonarCloud. You can then see also answering the first question in the QA. It is officially now part of the ITSM Pro license, and that also is in the next feature. So aligned with integration with the security tools, you can see in the pipeline UI more information that what we usually had. We usually can see the stages of the pipelines, as you can see from the top part, where you can see each time a stage is going through until the change is created. But now we can have even more information on for each stage which information got fetched from your pipeline, such as the artifacts, which work item was created, but also your software quality results and your test quality results by toggling this part and selecting which quality results would you like to see. Everything is, as I said, available part from the 1.27 version of the application, and from now on available for the ITSM Pro license. And we finish off this webinar with Guus.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, so I'll be talking today about the new features that are in App Engine Studio. So App Engine Studio was introduced in the previous release but it's really gotten a nice upgrade in the Rome release. And App Engine Studio is really about enabling the no-code or low-code capabilities of ServiceNow platform to your user base to really allow also your citizen developers actually to build simple apps. So looking at the first thing, the citizen development collaboration, it is now possible to actually work together with a team of citizen developers. And so those are developers who are not actually maybe from the IT department, but they could be business users that are actually able to build their own apps. And now it's possible to granularly define who gets the rights to update which part, but also to expose or not expose particular functionalities of App Engine Studio to specific users, which allows you to make it easier to develop those things without confusing the business developers with a lot of additional options. And this is just available with the new version. Then the next option is actually to sort of bring the world of professional development using continuous integration, continuous delivery, bring it closer together with the world of low-code and no-code development, right? So the CI/CD pipelines allows you to expedite your delivery of whatever applications you're building on ServiceNow. But now it's also possible to actually, with a simple click of a button for a citizen developer, trigger that same complete process that ensures your quality and your, actually what Lamia referred to in the previous slide, I have all those code checks and have all those automated tests executed automatically that can now be simply triggered by a simple button for citizen developers as well from App Engine Studio by the Git integration, which is now enabled. And then the final item which is there is the mobile app builder. So of course the mobile capabilities have been enhanced in the recent releases every time, but now the mobile app builder is becoming part of App Engine Studio, which means that even your business users, even your citizen developers can now actually build their own mobile apps to extend the applications which are built in App Engine Studio. So really expanding the impact of whatever is being built using App Engine Studio. There is a separate store app which needs to be installed for this, which is available as of the Rome release, and it's part of the platform, so no additional subscription is required for this bit. Well, that's it. I think then from there on I can hand it back to Maria.
Yeah, thanks, Gus. I think that takes us to the end of the highlights, and I also have been told that most of our Q&A were already answered in the chat and live. So let me just see what we've got here. A question from Siva Panada. Any updates on ISC? Who wants to answer that one?
Maybe Siva can clarify what ISC is abbreviating.
That's the Instant Security Center, right?
That would make sense.
Yeah. Well, I've been switching it quickly.
Yeah, it's reactive scan new functionality has been added to the
Instant Security Center. Instant Security Center.
Security Center.
Yeah. I've been checking it quickly, but there are no major changes yet. At least they are not referring it to their major release topics. So unfortunately.
Okay, no major changes. Siva said thank you. Thanks, Edwin. Any other questions? We have 6 or 7 that were already answered live. Does anybody else have a question before we close out? Let's see. Okay, from Susmitha, we have, is the delegate functionality that was mentioned in HRSD role specific? Also, if I am right, this is a platform feature. So I think maybe our HRSD expert can take that one if they're still on.
Yes, I'm still here. So
I'll repeat the question, Wolf. Is the delegate functionality mentioned in your HRSD update role specific? And is this a platform feature?
So the delegate functionality, well, everyone can create a delegate. Of course, there are delegate admins as well and delegate agents that can create new delegation rules and can set up those user and HR criteria. The delegate functionality is indeed a platform feature. The granular delegation, that is a new feature that is part of the HRSD core.
Okay. Hopefully that answered your question, Susmitha. Just follow up with us directly if you need more information. And that goes for everybody who has a question. We'd be happy to answer in further detail if you want to follow up directly. We just received a bunch more questions, so I'm going to work through these as fast as I can. From Somnas, currently we are in Paris and moving to Rome during October, November. We are still using Connect Chat. Is there any chance of functionality removal? Who wants to take that one?
I can. Okay, go on.
Go ahead, Daniel. Okay.
Oh no, I was going to say the Connect Chat is indeed replaced with the agent chat, but there's not. In terms of they are no longer supporting it, but they are not removing the functionality right now.
But which means no functionality since it's being deprecated. However, for an advice, if you're using virtual agent, it's best to move to agent chat for it instead of Connect Chat linked to virtual agent.
Okay, sage advice. Thanks, Lamia. Next question may be for Dylan. Is that CMDB workspace circle graph shown in the slides overview already available in Quebec? And is it out of the box?
Well, the CMDB workspace itself was not available in Quebec, but has been piloted from in August and will become available from October onwards. So if it's generally available, you can install it via the store app. And I believe it is also available on Quebec.
And is it out of the box?
And it's, sorry, yes, it's complete. Yeah.
OOB. Okay, cool. Thanks, Dylan. Let's see. Done. Next question. Can someone explain the difference between agent workspace and the now experience workspace in App Engine Studio? Hoofs, I think you want that one.
Yeah, sure. So the now experience framework is sort of the generic reusable thing, which is actually being used in a lot of different things. Agent workspace, from ITSM perspective, was effectively the first implementation of this new now experience framework. And what we see is that as many modules, these new workspaces are now being introduced, like what Karel showed for the integrated risk management, but also what was shown for the HRSD. And I think in all modules, this is slowly, these workspaces are becoming available. Within App Engine Studio, you can create your own of these workspaces. So if you would create, let's say, a custom application for your marketing team, you could set up your marketing workspace where all the marketing team members can handle their marketing requests from within their marketing workspace. So I hope that answers that question.
Cool. Thanks, Gus. And next question, is MS Teams chat integration impacted by the switch from Connect Chat to Agent Chat?
I think that's related to the extra remark that I made about virtual agent and the use of agent chat instead of Connect Chat. It's more like Anio said, it's going to be deprecated. The functionalities are not going to be removed, but it's more regarded to the fact that if you have an issue, you will not get the support you need from ServiceNow, probably as much as if you keep on following with the features and the functionalities which are always being updated. So impacted, not really, but for support reasons afterwards, you might want to update it to Agent Chat.
In addition, I think all the new integrations which are becoming available will most likely all focus on the new Agent Chat rather than connecting to the old Connect Chat.
Thanks, Lamia and Gus. I don't see any more questions coming in right now. And I think that should be it. So without anything further, thank you all for joining today. We hope this was a valuable session for you, and thank you especially to our presenters for keeping it short and sweet. And with that, I think we'll close it out. And to everybody who attended today, we'll share a recording within the next day or two. So thanks again, and we'll sign off. See you next time.